Hey everybody, Will here from machineloveus.com. So today I am continuing in the email campaign Casper writing video series. Just to recap, what I've been doing is grabbing articles, Reddit articles off of the site, storing them in a database on AWS. And then I pull from that database to check for the most recent articles in the past 7 days that have met some certain criteria. I condense those articles across subreddits and then have been able to send them via the MailChimp API to myself in a draft campaign. So I'm going to continue with that. If you've been following along the last video, I wound up being able to send a plain text campaign, but not knowing how to make it HTML. Well, I figured that out. The only thing I needed to do was to actually pass, instead of plain text in your data when you are updating your client campaign's content, you pass HTML. So literally by reading the docs, you could see that if you just change plain text to HTML, that you'll be able to send HTML instead of plain text. And this is great. So why don't I just back up and show you what this script does. Now what is this script? This is the code that I have ported over, refactored from another script, and this actually generates the newsletter. So what this is doing is connecting to DynamoDB, which is where the articles are stored on AWS. This is setting up some global variables that I use throughout the file. This is the main function, articles of interest. So this actually goes to a subreddit. You pass in a subreddit. It finds the articles that I've stored from that subreddit in the database, and then it checks that they were created recently. So I set that in the past 7 days. And then if the article has more upvotes than the minimum, I set that at 25, then I return that, right? And so once I have all of these articles from all of these subreddits that I've chosen, I go through and I format them in a way that would be useful for a newsletter. This also includes getting some images and putting those images in the email as well. And so if I run this, finally, the last thing is to set up the MailChimp part of this so I can create a campaign in MailChimp, essentially an email draft, and have that. So if I run this, I'm just running this. I get these articles and the images that I might want to use, and if I go to my MailChimp campaigns, what I'll find is that this campaign is there, right? So I just created this campaign. It has everything. Now I need to, it's not pretty, but it does have all these links and formatted like this, right? So it's not pretty, but what it is there automated, and it's HTML. So we can spruce this up a bit. We can design some HTML that would fit this nicely. So we'll do that in another video in the final stages of getting this ready. Okay, so that's what it does. Now what I want to do is schedule this on Lambda. So what does that mean? That means we'll have the ability to have this automated. All right, so for Lambda you need a Lambda handler, and this is what I said last time. So this is going to be the input. You can make this something else, but just just for consistency's sake, I'm going to name it Lambda handler, and you pass it an event in context. Now I have this in its own little directory, product newsletter Lambda. Okay, and what I need to do is to pip install the dependencies that I have into this directory, because we're going to upload a zip package to AWS. And so I need to pip install the packages that are required here into the directory itself. And how do we do that? Well, I need to figure out what are the dependencies. So I have a dependency on Bodo3 and MailChimp 3. So I'm going to pip install Bodo3, and then the target is this directory. Lambda needs all of this information there. So now it's there, and now I have to pip install MailChimp 3, and my target is right here. Okay, so I just want to make sure I have all of everything I need in here now to be my zip package, and hopefully it's not so big, because Lambda only allows for a certain size. Okay, so now that that is there, I need to zip this up into I need to make a zip package for this. So see product. Okay, so I need to zip this. Zip our newsletter .zip. Okay, so I'm zipping all of this together. So I should have a newsletter zip somewhere. Okay, so 9 megs. So hopefully this will be okay. Let me put that on the desktop. So now I'm going to go to Lambda, AWS, my console, Lambda. I'm going to create a new Lambda here. Create function, author from scratch, newsletter, let's call it Python 3.7. I think 3.7 is fine. Use existing role. I have this Casper role that has a lot of permissions. Okay, so now what I need to do is upload a zip. Here it is. Upload that. Okay, and so the handler, Lambda function, Lambda handler. So the Lambda is in core. It's going to be core Lambda handler. That's what it should be. So we save that. No environment variables, execution role, use existing role, basic settings, network. Okay, so now I got to set a trigger. There are a lot of different triggers that you can set. And I'd love to figure out what all of these are, but what I'm going to do is just set an event, and it's going to be a rule. And right now I kind of want to I'm going to set it for once a day so I can figure out if this is working right. So now everything is saved, and I should be able to test it. I think, I'm not sure how the actually testing of this works. So that's something to figure out, but the Lambda newsletter has been successfully created. So I should be able to see this thing execute via CloudWatch logs. So if I go over to AWS CloudWatch, I should be able to see the Lambda execute if I'm lucky. So let's see, I go to logs. I only have one log group here, which is my other Lambda. But I think it should appear soon. So I'm not sure, but I will have to come back and update you. I have this scheduled to run once a day, and so it should be working now. So let's go back to campaigns. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to see it operate right now. 5:53. Oh, this looks like, did this just operate? I think I just exited out of this one. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to see the working iteration right now. But in the next video, we'll go over how I was able to figure out that this thing was running. It should be in the CloudWatch logs, and this should be set up to be automated now. So tune back into the next video, and we will go through monitoring this in AWS, making sure it's doing exactly what we want it to be doing. And then we'll go through and pretty the thing up with HTML. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're getting to the end of this video series, so let me know what you'd like to see next. I have some ideas myself about the next big project that will be undertaken here, and maybe I'll send a little survey around or something. But if you want to leave a comment on the video and let me know the kinds of things that you'd like to see, I'd appreciate that. All right, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.